Teachers Union Sadtu has expressed concern that many of the 21 young people who died at Enyobeni tavern in East London may have been underage. Sadtu says the tragedy is a reminder of the appalling conditions many young people live under and has demanded that those responsible for the deaths be held to account. And we speak now to Sadtu's Mugwena Maluleke, who to tell us a little bit more about what their thoughts are around this. Secretary General of Sadtu. Mr. Maluleke, a very good evening to you. Thank you so much for speaking to us. It is such a tragedy that many of us are still trying to wrap our minds around it. Obviously, there's also a lot of speculation as to what could have happened. The latest information that you're hearing, is it giving you any form of indication of police or investigators coming closer to what led to the deaths of these young people?
Good evening, our Tsepiso, and to your viewers at home. We would want to extend our heartfelt condolences to the families and the Scenery Park residents and the community at large. We haven't heard about what could have caused this particular tragic incident in that particular tavern. We know that the police, together with the forensics, are at work in terms of doing some post-mortem in order to really relieve the parents and the community of the cause of this particular incident that has really shocked us and really saddened us as an education sector. So we will then be relying on the investigators to really give us some light of why these particular teenagers find themselves having lost their life at that particular age, and when basically the community was looking forward to them being the future leaders of our country and contributing to the growth of this particular country. We are really saddened by this incident.
Let's talk about the age of the patrons, which is something that you have expressed concern about. One of the fathers of the deceased said the 17-year-old was actually days away from preparing for matric camp ahead of the exams. But you are saying it seems a significant number of them were underage. What leads you to this conclusion? What are you hearing?
The information that we have received from the union back in the Eastern Cape was able to verify that a majority of those 21 who have lost their lives were underage. And this has been also been investigated by the Liquor Board, and therefore some of them have also confirmed that indeed some of the deceased younger than the age of 18, which is the age that is allowed to be able to enter such premises. In terms of the law, anyone who is below the age of 18 is not allowed to even buy liquor. It's not even allowed to imbibe. It's not even allowed to enter such premises. And therefore, hence, as an organization, we are saying that there must be accountability. While we are not going to be apportioning the blame for now, however, we have got to, all of us, be saying that there are those people who have got to take responsibility. Not only the owner of the tavern, but also the police themselves. It's not that it's the first time that they would have heard about the complaints about this particular overcrowding in such a place, but also in terms of the inspection of whether people are following the ordinances and the regulations in terms of the closing of time for the tavern. It's not that the community was not aware.
Looking at this issue of the age of consent, so we are saying that it's children who are 18 and below, and as teachers, you would be very much in proximity with the kind of lives or lack of social protection that many of these children live under. During Child Protection Week, it was found that alcohol abuse actually is prevalent among ages 12 to 15 years of age here in South Africa. Is this what teachers from the Eastern Cape are reflecting to you, that there seems to be very limited adult supervision?
Yes, there's very limited adult supervision for these teenagers. And it is correct that the 12 years up to the 17 years find themselves in these particular appalling conditions where they live, and then with no, recreational facilities, with sometimes no parenting at all. And if there is parenting, there is the degeneration of morals in our society. And therefore, these underage children who found themselves in that particular area are driven to these particular places because of some of these issues that are happening in our society, where our recreational facilities are now being used by clubs that are closing access to our young people, but also they don't have any other form of entertainment, and therefore the tavern prowling has become leisure time, leisure places and entertainment. This shows further that our society is lawlessness. People don't respect the law, and therefore under normal circumstances, these particular teenagers would have not found themselves there if the parents and the community would have been, vigilant and taking responsibility and accountability themselves, that this particular owner of tavern would have long been, admonished and have been dealt with in terms of the law, to say he has got to make sure that if he operates such a tavern, it has got to have security. The security was not there. It has got to make sure that they observe the law. There were no monitoring by the metropolis or by the SAPS, and therefore these are all the social problems that we are encountering as a country.
What about your power of influence as teachers, Mr. Maluleke? This has been part of public discourse over the past couple of weeks, the relationship between teachers and learners, and many people saying that parents have to do their bit in terms of teaching their children manners. But how much influence do you have over these children? Because these taverns are a microcosm of society. So I can imagine that this also plays out on the school grounds, that these children come to school drunk or with alcohol. Share with me your experiences. You're a teacher, you're a member of Sadtu, you are privy to some of these challenges.
Definitely, we have observed over the years that we are supposed to be having an influence on our young people. We do our best to always call for value-embedded curriculum, where we have got to talk about responsibility, citizenship with our learners and so forth. We do succeed to a certain extent, but we also don't get sometimes successful in terms of being able to do that. Hence, it's important to have a collaboration with the parents. Where the parents are doing their part, we would observe fewer incidents of ill discipline, violence in our schools, but also the use of drugs and the use of substance abuse in our society. Where there's working together of the parents and the teacher, we find ourselves having to have a positive impact on the conduct of our learners. But where we do not have support from the parents, and the parents have handed over their children and said the teacher will see to finish, we experience those particular problems. We call parents to our schools. Our experience is that until such time that we have written a letter that the learner must not come to school, you'll never see the parent coming to the school. So this is some of the issues that is confronting the management of the school, where they would not have the particular cooperation. When we have got sports events or entertainment events in the level of the schools, where learners have got to be picked up by the parents, they normally don't pick them up. And obviously the children do not participate in those particular things. And this obviously would lead to discontinuation of social programs that are supposed to assist them. So we are influencers as the teachers, but we have got limitations, because you have got we believe that every child is raised by a community. All of us, we have got to raise these particular children. We take responsibility as the teachers, and therefore would expect the parents to do the same. We have seen learners who would be walking the street in Soweto, drunk in the morning, in front of the community, in front of their parents and so forth. In Harangua, just close where I'm staying, there is a school that is becoming a white elephant, because learners go to school drunk, they take drugs, and when they arrive at the school, they sleep. 13 years old, 12 years old, 9 years old, they just sleep. the teachers are finding themselves in that particular situation where they don't know what to do anymore because they don't have the support of the psychosocial services, they don't have the support of the police, they don't have the support of the community. We're not apportioning the blame, but it is a responsibility for all of us. And education, which is embedded in values, will be able to help our children to grow as responsible adults.
And they see this behavior within the community from the adults. And as you say, Mr. Maluleke, what is needed is recreational facilities for healthier, engaging habits for young children.